Welcome to the Water Valley Voice. Hello, everybody. My name is Marissa Donahoo. Welcome to our first edition of the Water Valley podcast. Let me introduce my dad, Martin Lind. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Boo Boo.
Hi. His favorite nickname for me.
Well, hi. I'm Martin Lind, founder, partner, Water Valley.
So, Dad, walk us through. So many people don't really know you, and I want them to know you the way that I know you.
Well, do you want the me that I know or the me that the internet says I am?
We want the me that you know.
Okay, cool.
So walk us through, start to finish. How did this project start? Water Valley. Where did it start? Where was the vision? What happened when you were? How old were you in this? I know I was 6.
Right.
So you were.
So we started a company. I was actually farming back in the 80s and luckily went broke. And we had farm auction. We didn't have enough money to pay the auctioneer and the bank. So we had to go sell some other things and get that paid off. And then we, my dad stayed on the farm and he did some tinkering with farm equipment and made kind of a living. And I went to town and sold cars and sold oil field pipe. And
I remember that.
Always loved real estate, always loved water rights. And as you know, we grew up on a little mud lake called Oklahoma Reservoir that was nothing around. It belonged to a ditch company.
I know it a little bit.
Well, I always laughed because I had more friends in the summer and no friends in the winter. And I thought, I wonder if it's my charming personality or if it's the lake. So
both.
Yeah. But I always watched these gravel companies dig this beautiful lakes, but they would reclaim them with steep sides and car bodies and rock. And I thought, man, if they would just reclaim gravel pits, that's the most beautiful water in the whole river. And so, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years after dabbling in a little real estate and water rights, I had a partner, Steve Watson, played for the Broncos. And this opportunity where Kodak owned all this land in the valley and they were going to sell. They needed to buy some land on the east side of their plant and sell the stuff on the west. And we were helping out with that transaction with Craig Harrison. And in the middle of that, Craig said, hey, can you put together a partnership and buy that 1,200 acres west of 257? And I knew the property because we drove by it going to school every day, going to town, and it had more water rights. And I knew that the farmers that farmed, if they plowed too deep, they hit gravel. That was my whole geological study. Was I knew that if they plowed deep, they hit gravel. So anyway, we got it purchased and we put together a thing called Pooter Tech aggregates to make the
I remember.
To dig the lakes out. And it was kind of funny because everybody saw the plan and said, it'll take 100 years to dig that much gravel. And we got into a very aggressive market. DIA started. So we didn't sell rock to DIA or sand, but the vacuum of materials that DIA created, building that airport, we were backfilling a lot of rock. And we did about 24 million yards of earth and mining out here in about 20 years. We bought the property in 1990.
Okay, year I was born.
Started Pooter Tech 91.
Yep.
I had a Ford Explorer with car seats in it, and you were one of them in the car seat.
I know.
You don't remember that.
I don't remember, but I hear a lot about it. Yeah.
But yeah, we started that, and then 95 we put our first plat in, which was up at the corner of Eastman Park and 7th. There was no Eastman Park Drive. It was just a kind of a wetland area south of Windsor. The park, Eastman Park, was part of this property. And when we were transactioning this with Kodak, the mayor of Windsor at the time, Wayne Miller, had come to me and said, hey, that stuff, that 60 acres west of 7th Street, Kodak would like to pull that out of your contract and donate that to the town. And it was funny because that was the one 60 acres I couldn't figure out what to do with. Because it's all in the floodplain, and I go, well, that's golden. We don't have to pay for that property. So anyway, Kodak donated that on Earth Day in 1990 or 91. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, that ended up being the place for Windsor's Park. We built Eastman Park with our first phase. And then it was kind of funny. Our performa that we had was $22,000 a lot for the first phase that weren't on the water.
Water Valley.
Yep.
One.
Yep. And the waterfront lots were $65,000.
That's insane.
And I had a partner in Greeley that had accredited accountants and lawyers around him all the time. And it was kind of funny. We were sitting at the little farmhouse. It was our office over there. And we showed him our little one page.
We talked about this.
We showed him our little 1-page performa. And he grabs it. He rips it up. Not my partner. He's a good guy, but his attorney takes it, rips it up, throws it at me. With Steve Watson, Denver Broncos, sitting next to me and said, hell will freeze over before he eat $22,000 and a $65,000 lot sell in godforsaken Windsor, Colorado. I said, oh, I think it's a good time for you to have your partner sell out of this.
If only he was here now.
So we did. And ever since then, it's an overnight success story 40 years later.
It went from 30 to 40.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the start. And our first filing, we had 120 lots, and the $65,000 waterfronts were the first one to sell. And
of course they were.
Of course, those are worth millions now. And yeah.
I know. Crystal was showing me some photos earlier, and I couldn't believe the houses that were sitting there on the lake.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 30 years ago, like this year, it was 1996.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is insane.
Yeah, we had one builder came in and built a spec and sold it right away to a Windsor guy, a State Farm insurance agent guy. And you remember McBride. They bought the first waterfront one.
Heather McBride was one of my good friends. And that's the house that you sent me. Mm-hmm. That's that first one. Yep. Then you built some townhomes. So tell me how you went from here we are in Water Valley to Water Valley South. What was the transition there?
So it was phasing based on the mining operation. So we got the north side of the river mined out.
Because I remember it was a gravel pit.
Mm-hmm. It was a gravel pit. And then we got the golf course opened in 98, but we were still mining. So the lake.
Austin's birthday.
The lake, that's right. We opened it on July 12th.
Yes, Austin's birthday and Tim McGraw and Faith Hill were here.
They were the first two to hit balls here.
First two to hit balls. Yeah. Which is kind of a fun fact. We should probably show people at some point. But yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So
then the lakes, we were still mining them, and they were dry. They're big holes. Mm-hmm. And so the golf course was going round and round with golfers, but it was very ugly down there. It was very industrial. Yeah. And then what's cool about mining operation is you groom and you do all this stuff under the ground, under the water, but it's ugly. And then when you introduce the water, this beautiful curtain of blue comes on top. Mm. And so we put in all the fish habitat. That's why the fishing's so prolific out here. Yeah. Like we manufactured everything. What was really traumatic was, trying to think of what year it was, but Steve was still my partner. It would have been 99. It might have been, no, it was 98. It was the year before we opened. The golf course was just growing in, and we had horrendous floods. And one of the fairways, which is number 16 right now, the river cut through the fairway, broke into our mining operation, flooded the whole lake, filled the next lake down. We were down there scrambling, pulling trucks and stuff out of the holes. But it lifted the concrete sidewalks and the cart paths, and the sprinkler system looked like spaghetti, and it just ripped this out. And I remember Steve just going, "This is the worst thing in the world. We have a golf course in the floodplain." I go, it was kind of designed for that.
I was just going to say, didn't you do it because it was in a floodplain?
Right. And we had Anderson Consulting do this giant FEMA study on the FEMA floodway through there. And so the tees and the greens are up out of the floodplain, but the fairways are designed to take the flood.
Down below, yep.
And it would have been perfect, but the grass hadn't grown yet. So when the erosion started, and if the lake had been full, it wouldn't have eroded. But what happens is when that lake was empty and the fall started, that water starts eroding backwards, and it just ate right through to the river. So the river actually cut through the mining operation that year. And it was pretty freaky, but we had just moved millions of yards of dirt. And I looked at it, I said, hey, as soon as the water's done, let's get the mining operation in, go fill the dirt in, put the sprinklers back in, put some grass in, and let's go. Yeah. And so we did that. And then ironically, in 2013, we had the biblical floods along the Front Range. It was a 500-year flood.
That I remember.
Right? Well, everybody was sure Water Valley was going to be just right. Our engineering was so solid that we didn't have one manhole pop, not one single lot got wet.
Smart guy.
And they were flooding. Ptarmigan got flooded, Greeley got flooded, all of these subdivisions up and down the river flooded except for Water Valley.
I remember County Road 15. Oh, yeah. Flooded right across
that flood was so bad it took out every bridge between here and Brush. Yeah. So you couldn't get from the north side to the south side. Yeah. Yeah. was crazy. Emergency services in Will County were crazy.
Yeah.
But we didn't have one single flood, not one wet basement in all of Water Valley.
And that was because of the engineering that you guys did
We
and the
had
development.
really solid civil engineering. And we moved the dirt it took. We moved a lot of dirt. Yeah.
So what took you from housing development to golf course? Where did the golf course come from? And why was that something that you did?
The golf course was always kind of a part of the vision of live, work, play. And in the floodway of the river, so that's very interesting, the mining operations, we tried to give the gravel away to a mining operation just so we could get the lakes. And none of them would take it because we want them to leave a big fat fairway next to the river. They want to take it right up next to the river. So if you look at an aerial photo of almost all rivers, you'll see a tiny strip of land between the river and the gravel.
Yeah.
Where the lake is, we left this big wide spot for a fairway, and that's why the mining industry, wouldn't do this operation. And they also wanted to have square lakes because mining equipment works better if you just go straight lines.
Yeah.
And of course, our lakes look like Mother Nature made them 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
So we did the mining operation ourselves, and through all of that, there was this nice template for the golf course. And we built the golf course, opened it up in '98, and it's a very, very popular. What's really cool about the golf course is it was kind of designed after my golf game. There's no houses on it, so you don't break any windows when I'm playing.
Yeah. I know that's how rain dance was.
Yeah,
I've heard that's why there's a little bit of open space.
That's right.
Yeah,
I don't like breaking windows when I golf.
Yeah.
So just keep the houses away.
So we've got Pelican, we've got the falls. Tell us a little bit about rain dance and where the name came from, because I think it's a really fun story.
So rain dance was this big, basically 1,500 acres of vacant dry land. It's called in Colorado. You have irrigated land and dry land. Water Valley was irrigated.
Yep.
Rain dance was dry land. It's 250 feet above. And there's completely different values. There's different values for agriculture. But rain dance was this beautiful canvas. There wasn't a tree, a power line. There was nothing in the way. And we could create whatever we want. And originally, we were going to call it Water Valley West. And we were going to put a lake. We were going to dig a man-made lake, which we have done now south of rain dance, right on the corner. But we were going to dig that lake and put homes around that. And we were going to pump the water up there at night with cheap electricity and then let it flow back down. And so where Water Valley, we gravity flow into the lakes and pump back out to the irrigation. We were going to do the opposite. We were going to pump up into a lake and then gravity flow into the irrigation. Well, it was Water Valley West, and I was talking to the farmer. He didn't own it, but after I had bought it, the farmer was a longtime friend of my dad's, Bob Moore, and he was up there and he said, "What are you doing with this worthless dry land?" And I said, "Bob, I'm going to put a lake on this." And he said, "This is the highest hill in the whole area. You're going to have to do a rain dance to put water up here." I said, good name.
Yeah, I love it. So later on, I'm going to ask Chris what his opinion on why each golf course is different. And you kind of just
they're definitely super unique. And of course, when we built Pelican Falls, we had the original 18 Pelican Lakes. And then when we did the South Filings in Water Valley South, I really wanted to get up to it was beautiful views up there, but I wanted to get up and show off to all our residents what it looked like to look down. So we put Pelican Falls up the lake. We made the waterfall, right? It's man-made, but it's beautiful. Yeah. It looks like it's been there 1,000 years.
It really does.
And we learned so much in building that when we contemplated rain dance, which is a funny story I'd love to tell you about, Fred, but rain dance, the topography and all of the great views really was the inspiration and the clean canvas for that beautiful golf course.
Well, and you can tell with the topography that you guys use within the... So you mentioned Fred Funk. Tell us a little bit about that relationship and how that evolved and where it happened and why.
Funny story. So one of my best friends in the world, Craig Fitzsimmons, was our pilot. Yep. And we were broke. And, it was 2008. The world melted down. The catastrophe of the 2008 Great Recession, they call it. It wasn't the Great Depression, but it's called the Great Recession. And the housing market melted and everything. And literally every bank was going broke. Banks were being seized. And we were like out of credit, out of money. Every banker wanted to murder me because they had... there's a saying, if a banker loans you a little bit of trouble, a little bit of money, and bad times come, you're in trouble. But if they loan you a lot of money, they're in trouble with you. That's how we got
You're
through
both
it. Yeah.
down shit creek. Yeah.
That's right.
With no paddle.
Yeah. So we were in that era, and some partners and I had aviation department. We had a King Air, and we had sold it, and we're just throwing every lawn chair off the Queen Mary we could to keep from drowning. And so Craig was a pilot with no plane, and I really wanted to keep him here. And so what was interesting was at the time you could not borrow a penny on real estate. You couldn't, no matter what, but you could borrow money on a jet. So we had some real estate that we didn't have deeds of trust on that wasn't leveraged to a bank. I said, Craig, let's get an ad in the aviation industry and say, we'll trade real estate for a jet. I don't care what it is because I'm not going to fly it. I'm just going to borrow against it. I'm going to try to make payroll for another year. I kind of
remember this story,
right?
But yeah.
The only person that answered that ad was Fred Funk's broker. And Fred kind of had the same deal. He went from the PGA to the Champions Tour.
Yep.
Well, the money difference between those two is that's going from the Taj Mahal to Top Ramen overnight, right? So it's kind of funny. So this would have been 2009, 10, somewhere in there. And so it gets a little bit sincere. And Fred has a Lear 35. And it was black, and it had end numbers, Foxtrot, Fred Funk, right? And he's at the top of his game, just won the Players, all this fun stuff. And so I go to our golf pro, and I said, "Do you know who Fred Funk is?" And he goes, "Oh my God, Fred Funk! Whoa,
who doesn't?" Yeah.
Right? So I go, "He might want to trade me some real estate for a jet." Oh, right. So Fred flies into town.
Connection,
right? Fred flies into town. He's got his consultant with him, and it wasn't 10 seconds. We realized this isn't going to work. And I was showing him buildings and vacant land and anything that we had that wasn't leveraged to the hill. I was trying to trade him for this jet so I could go borrow on the jet.
Right.
And I called it the 2 dead dogs for a dead cat trade, right? Because the
Your
jet,
favorite.
right? That's how we survived.
We do it a lot.
And so we're maybe 2 hours into this deal, and both Fred and I know this isn't going to happen. And I had made the comment, and you know Fred now, but he can't help but fall in love with the guy.
I know,
right?
He's such a sweet guy. And he's so cute and little. Like, he's just like it's Polly Pocket.
Exactly, right? And so I don't know if we're at lunch or something. I said, Fred, have you ever designed a golf course? Have you ever been an architect? He goes, oh, bucket list. Oh my God, I'll never get the chance, but I've got all these ideas. And I could just tell he was so loving and so fun that he would be really fun. And so I go, Fred, I want to show you something. I have this vision of a golf course up on this hill, and I want to call it Rain Dance National. And he's like, well, yeah, let's go look at it. So we drive up. You know, there's nothing up there. It's just wheat fields and barbed wire and ravines. And we drive up on there, and he's like, well, this is really cool. This is neat. And then when we got down in the bottom and looked back up the ravines, he goes, oh my God. He goes, do you have some? So long story short, we sent topography back of Rain Dance with him. One of his buddies in Ponte Verde, Florida, was a architect, Harrison Minshew, that had just retired from Palmer Golf.
Yeah.
32-year career, stellar career with Palmer. And so anyway, Harrison gets this topography, and he goes to Fred. He goes, oh my God, that's the most beautiful place for blah, 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 blah. And it starts. And the sad deal was I was selling these guys that we could do this. I didn't have 2 nickels. In fact, I put that property on an auction trying to get rid of it.
And so what year was this that you met Fred?
Would have been 10, probably. I tried to auction it in 11, couldn't get a bid on it.
Yeah.
We spent a little bit of money with Harrison and Fred to try to get some designs, and it just got cooler and cooler, and let Mother Nature be the canvas. And then all of a sudden it's getting longer and longer. And then we decided because of drought conditions, we should do fescue, which is a much more drought tolerant, but it lets the ball roll further. So then anyway, it's a funny story where the world's shortest golfer designs the world's longest golf course.
No, right? I didn't want to say anything about his height, but I kind of already did.
He knows I'm going there.
He's a little Polly Pocket. I know.
Right,
and we love him so much. And I've gotten to know Fred on a personal level, and he's now family, I feel like, to us.
Yeah, this is his home. Everybody loves Fred.
I mean, you said 2000.
That had to be 10, 11 right then when it started. And
we're 15 years into this
really
relationship.
Dark for about 5 years, and there was just no hope. And I remember Fred had gone to Donald Trump at the time, before the presidency run, because he'd golfed with him a lot. And said, "Hey, Donald, I got this beautiful place to land. Would you like to invest and help me build a golf course?" And I remember Fred telling me, Donald goes, "You idiot. You can buy all the golf course you want for $1. I'll go buy you one and give it to you before I ever put money in one." So, yeah, it's some story like that, but it was pretty cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad, tell us how Water Valley became Water Valley.
Okay. So originally, the plats, the original annexation says Poudre Tech Center. And it's because in the early 90s, the hottest market in all of Colorado was the Denver Tech Center. And it was downtown south, and it was booming. And the Denver Tech Center was everything. Everybody was moving there. Everybody was putting their offices there.
Yeah.
And of course, Steve Watson and I were down there a lot. And so we named this Poudre Tech Center. We had envisioned commercial and industrial. Actually had some visions of bringing rail in and having industrial warehouses. And as it got evolved, it became very obvious that this was a cool place residentially. So we start giving these concepts of, and again, this is all cornfields, right? There's no mining, nothing's going on.
Yeah.
And we were up on top of the hill, south where Picture Point is right now, looking down into it. And I'm up there and I'm going, Steve, envision that river going through the bottom, envision the whole valley full of water. It's just going to be lake, all water.
Yeah.
And I go, we should call it Water Valley, just like that. And it was kind of like the rain dance story. It was just like, it just
came to you.
It's like Cascadia.
Yeah.
That wasn't named. That was just West Greeley. And then when we started seeing the renderings of all this cascading water,
just came to you.
Yeah, right.
Wow, you've got a name. You've told me the story about Pelican Lakes and how you named it Pelican Lakes, but there was actually no pelicans here.
There was hardly any pelicans.
Okay, tell us that story, because I think that's actually really funny.
One of the original people that were going to help us build it, his favorite course in the world was in California called Pelican Hills.
And I've been there. It's in not Palm Springs, but
it's in
think of it at like 3 a.m. But
yes, it's south of LA.
Yes.
So he wanted us to go see it. So Steve and I fly out and we play Pelican Hills. Well, if you remember right, our original logo with Water Valley was a goose. Because we have millions of geese here and no pelicans. Yeah,
because weren't you going to call it something?
Well, a lot of haters nicknamed us Goose Valley because there's so much goose out there.
Yeah. Okay.
But we went out to Pelican Hills, and the word pelican is so much sexier than a goose.
It's cuter.
We just said, let's name the golf course. Let's call the golf course Pelican Lakes. We have all the lakes. And so what was funny about that was our groundbreaking day, Mike Shannon was coaching the Broncos. He came up. He was part of our entourage for groundbreaking. This wasn't grand opening, groundbreaking. And right when we had the shovel on the ground, one white pelican flew over. And he looks at that and he goes, "How did you get that to happen?" And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And then
now you drive around and every lake is filled with pelicans.
We're lucky because we've built a habitat they love to eat at, but they don't want to have their babies here. Because if you go to Jackson Reservoir east of Greeley, that's where they're having their nesting and their babies. And it is like a feedlot. It is really gross what they do. But they come here to eat. And they're hard on our fish population, no question about it. But they're so beautiful.
They are really beautiful. It's funny because so many pelicans now come here, and everyone thinks it's because that's why you named it that.
Yeah.
And I'll tell them it's actually not. We didn't even have any pelicans here.
Windsor. My parents grew up in Windsor. They never saw pelicans.
Yeah.
They're here all
They're here, and it's because
I can't say that it's because of us.
You're the guy that has good names.
I don't know. I do know. It's kind of funny because there's the yoga studio, May's studio. She has some high-end clientele, and one of the ladies lives on a lake, and I won't say her name, but she's over here doing her Pilates. And she goes, "May, will you get a hold of Martin? I want to know where he gets those pelicans. I want to put some on my lake."
like you need to buy them. I love it.
But we know what's really cool is obviously we go to Cabo all the time, and they have the brown pelicans.
Yeah.
And they're just not pretty. They're just this big.
It's the white that
they have 9-foot wingspans.
I was just going to say, when they fly.
Yeah, they're the only bird.
It's so pretty.
They're the only bird in the world that hunts in a pack. So you watch it on this lake all the time. They'll get in a horseshoe, and they look like a sewing machine, and they push all the fish up in the shallows.
Interesting.
And they eat.
Yeah, so they are hard on the habitat. Yeah.
Also, interesting, I didn't know this until they built the Catholic Church across the street, but the pelican is a biblical figure.
Tell us about that.
I don't know the exact story, but they actually came over, took
We'll look
pictures
it up.
of our statue, or of our bronze
The
pelican.
one that was in the roundabout? Or
Nope, the one that's right here on the waterfall.
Okay.
And they went over and had a wood carver. And if you go in the Catholic Church right now, the diocese is that pelican.
You're kidding.
Yeah, and it's about protecting and feeding a lot of people. And yeah, so.
Dad.
Yeah.
Does that make you emotional? Nose wrinkle just a little bit. Well, I know we're running out of time, but give us your vision. I know you started this. I was a baby, 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see this going? We've got Pelican, we've got Rain Dance, we've got Water Valley South. You have all these developments. We have Cascadia on the horizon. What's next steps?
I'm tired. Like, entitlements is harder and harder, as we saw in Greeley.
Yeah.
What was cool about the Greeley thing is they asked us. They came over, they being Mayor Gates, and was authorized by his council to really just try not to have Greeley grow into itself and reinvent Greeley, because Greeley has all the tools. They just don't have a good tool belt, right? They just have it disorganized. So they came over, and we were really flattered, really honored. But basically, the story was, Martin, you're stealing all of our executives. You're stealing all the people with wealth out of Greeley. They're coming over here. They're living this beautiful lifestyle. Will you come help us vision what you would do if you had this 5,000 acres of greenfield up there? And that's all it started.
Right.
And so my dad, Ted, he's still alive, right? He's 95 years
Grandpa.
old. I grabbed him. I trespassed on all that land. We drove across everything.
We'll cut that out.
And I said, tell me about this. And he had told me that 100 years ago, some old guy named Merkline or something had a dairy up there. And I go, how did he have a dairy? And he goes, he cut ditches through these draws. I go, you got to be kidding me. Well, we went and found them. They're up there.
Really?
And so I go, it's water. And Greeley has all the water. Greeley owns more water than everybody else combined. So
which a lot of people don't know.
Right. I go, let's go show off that water for Greeley. And so we started drawing some reflection ponds and some waterfalls. And it can't be big bodies of water like we have here, because it's too steep. There's 90 feet of fall up there. There's
like Rain Dance. It's too high.
Yeah, there's only 12 feet of fall from the
top to
where the river enters Water Valley to where it goes out.
Okay.
Right, but there's 90 feet of fall from where we're starting the Cascades down to the railroad track. So
that's a big drop.
And through all the decades of water knowledge and legal law and civil engineering, I knew that you can have a non-jurisdictional dam if you store less than 10 acres of surface water and your dam is less than 10 feet tall. Then it's called non-jurisdictional. If it's jurisdictional, you need all these permits and different insurance for flood and all that stuff. So a non-jurisdictional structure is just what it sounds like. There's no jurisdiction on it. So we started designing 10-acre or minimum or smaller ponds that would cascade, and that would be the theme of Cascadia. But it was just West Greeley at the time, and then when we started taking the site plan into some renderings and seeing what it would look like, it became Cascadia. It's just cascading,
and it just is beautiful.
So the vision is kind of the third leg of the stool, if you will. Yeah, Rain Dance, Water Valley, Rain Dance, and then Cascadia. They're all aquatic themed. They're all right here. They all touch each other.
Kind of your bookend of your
we connect all of it with
vision.
Trails and like Rain Dance didn't get a aquatic theme. It has an aquatic name, but it has an agricultural theme. And so Cascadia will have aquatic amenities, but we're thinking equestrian. We're thinking saving that Western heritage of Greeley, the Stampede, hanging on to that history. We'd like to do that. We try to hang on to what's cool and historical. If you notice in Water Valley, our sidewalks are recessed from the curb, and there's a tree line in between them. Well, the reason we did that is because that's how Windsor was founded. It had recessed. The reason new developments don't do that is because, economically,
that's pretty cool.
It's called rollover curb. Almost all the new subdivisions just do rollover curb. That way your sidewalk, your gutter is all the same thing, and it's much faster, cheaper.
Yeah.
We moved the sidewalk away on Water Valley Parkway and all the streets. And what that does is that puts the baby stroller and the toddlers with a tree line. It's like a ballard between the cars and the walk. And that's why.
Absolutely.
So we really love that recess thing. And now
I never knew that.
Hung on to the fabric of old Windsor, and that's where we started. Yeah. Some of it.
And then Rain Dance has its farmer theme and the orchards.
4,000 orchard trees just put out fruit like crazy up there. And
Ted's up there. And
it's fun. You see the sweet corn going, and we put out the notice that it's sweet corn time, and you see nothing but wagons. And
I have one of Oakley's best friend's mom. All she does, she goes out to those farms and she grabs buckets, and she loves the apple. She loves to go get corn. And it's like, where else can you do this?
Right.
Super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it just blows up when it's pumpkin time.
It's so fun. Oh yeah, and then the pumpkins. Yeah. Super fun.
It's a real fun, interactive open space, and it's a good lesson place, right? And it employs people. It's really fun.
It is. It's amazing. Well, I think that's all we have. So, Dad, thank you so much for joining our Valley Voice.
This will be fun. I'm excited about this.
We're super excited.
Great way to get truth information out. Yeah.
So many people want to know into the business side, into the personal side, into the friendship side, what's going on in the world here. We have so many different departments. So I think this is amazing. So
it's going to be awesome.
Thanks for coming on and giving us a little bit of your time. Love you.
Love you too.